Greetings, brothers and sisters, and welcome to our study today, Sabbath, the 4th of October, 2025, where we'll be looking at a study entitled Breastfeeding and Nutrition. And I'm sure today we are majoring on nutrition, yes, with our Brother Keagan Banda. So we now hand over to Brother Keagan for the prayer thought and the opening prayer.
Paragraph 3, entering which it says to eat, page 7, paragraph 3. Have you found it? Yeah. Yes, to eat understandingly. To eat understandingly that which is good. Okay. So we should eat understandingly that which is good. So we know that which is good phrase is in reference to the pronunciation of God when he was creating. When he created the grass and the plants, and he gave it, when he saw, then he said it was good. So he says to eat that which is good. So that good is in reference to the creation of God. Okay, particularly the food that he had created or designed for man in Genesis chapter 1 verse 29. And to keep well, however, is to eat only that which the Creator sanctified for man's use. To eat understandingly that which is good, and to keep well, however, is to eat only that which the Creator sanctified for man's use. Behold, he instructed, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Genesis chapter 1 verse 29. End of quote. Okay. So with this, we're going to pray. I think we've understood saying to eat that which is, to eat understandingly is to eat that which is good. And to eat that which is good is to eat the food that are in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, inclusive of vegetables. Okay, that is what this quote is saying. Our Father, who art in heaven, even up to today, you still demand us to eat that which is good, and you say that is to eat understandingly, because it's you who knows the body parts. You are not like the scientist, because the person who created, the designer of things and the creator of things, is the one who knows the functioning of that particular thing, and particularly the fuel or the food to be consumed. So you are instructing us, O Lord, to eat understandingly that, and to eat understandingly is to eat that which you designed and sanctified, because you know this particular machinery, because you are the one who created us. We do not create ourselves. May you help us understand this, because it is also chronicled in Psalms 100. We thank you, O Lord, because you are God and you still care of us. In the name of Jesus, we do pray, thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. 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 Yeah, so we shall continue. We're looking at breastfeeding, so and nutrition. So we're going to major now to nutrition. So I don't know if there are still questions on breastfeeding. Questions on breastfeeding. Okay. So nutrition. So let us finish paragraph 4 of the same entering which it says, although given an immense variety of foodstuffs, every herb and every tree bearing seed, and the sinless holy pair, being tempted and being inexperienced, reached for the only forbidden fruit in all God's creation, the fruit of the tree that was in the midst of the garden. Having eaten of it, they became subject to that experience which was to exhibit to them and to their descendants the results of both good and evil. That is life. The life today is the experiencing of good and evil. So the definition of this good and evil says joy and sadness, health and disease, redemption and damnation. That is what life has become. We experience joy, sadness. We experience health and disease. So meaning that in Ecclesiastes 3, where it says time to die and time was not to, that was not to exist if man had not eaten, if I gone back, screen is sharing, okay. If man had not eaten the tree of knowledge of good and evil, man was only to experience good. Man was not to experience what you call redemption and damnation. Redemption, it means you have been brought back. Okay. So man was not to experience all that. Man was to experience throughout health. And all these were henceforth to he, the Lord of humanity. Consequent. Okay, to be, okay. All these were henceforth to be the Lord of humanity. Consequently, while going through these experiences, death passed upon all men and upon all else that was subject to Adam's rulership. So all else is the beasts, inclusive of the beasts and the wildlife, also were subject to this, to death, as long as, because the man was given dominion to rule over everything. Page 8, paragraph 1, it says, thus a descendants of Father Adam, we naturally came into this world as first degree sinners. Since we are descendants of Father Adam, all of us, we come in this world, or we are born into this world as first degree sinners, subject to all the good as well as to all the evil that is in it. And now, if we choose to practice the good, we shall add no other sin. Eventually, our sinful nature will be changed and guided by divine light. We shall be brought to the Edenic sinless state. But if we continue to do otherwise, to add evil, then as a result, we shall acquire additional cases which result from our own sinning. And if we never turn from pursuing such an evil course, we shall suffer even the second death. Even the second death. That is damnation. Okay. So we see that those who are God's people are the ones who perpetuate good, those who are in the line of Satan's side, they perpetuate evil. Okay. So the original data, Ministry of Healing, that is 295 and 296 of 1905. MH 295 and 296 of 1905. It says, in order to know what are the best foods, we must study God's original plan for man's diet. It says 295. Have you found it? I didn't. In order to know, have you found it? 295. I didn't write the paragraph. Okay. You've seen it? Yes, in order to know what are the best foods, we must study God's original plan for man's diet. He who created man and who understands his needs appointed Adam his food. Behold, he said, I have given you every herb yielding seed, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food. Upon leaving Eden, to gain his livelihood by tilling the earth, under the curse of sin, man received permission to eat also the herb of the field. So you've seen how the herb of the field was added to Genesis chapter 1, verse 29.
Yeah, meaning initially we were not supposed to eat vegetables.
Yes. So in 296, it says grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. You understand? Grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods, prepared in as simple and natural a manner as possible, are the most healthful. There's a superlative word there. The most healthful and nourishing, full stop. They impart a strength, not weakness. They impart a strength and the power of endurance and vigor of intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet. Spiritual gifts, that is 4A, page 120 of 1864, spiritual gifts. It says God gave spiritual gifts 4A, page 1, yes, page 120.
It is 4ASG. ASG. That's the abbreviation there. 120.
It says, God gave our first parents. That's
That
how
will
it
be
is.
paragraph 3. 4A is G 120, paragraph 3.
Okay, so it's 4 spiritual gifts.
4A, remember 4, small a, then SG.
Says God gave our first parents. God gave our first parents the food he designed that the race should eat. It was contrary to his plan to have the life of any creature taken. There was to be no death in Eden. There was a time when I was saying that imakulibe kudya nkhuku ati manje nkhuku izachita chani kapena sitizamboidi. The design of God was that no creature was to be taken in Eden. There was no killing in Eden. There was to be no death in Eden. The fruit of the trees in the garden was the food man's once required. CD, cancels on deaths and food. No. This is coming from, these are extracts from unpublished testimonies in regard to flesh foods. Page 5 and 6 of 1890. I don't know if in CD where it is found. I don't know if it is found in 81, page 81, CD 81. I think so. Says the Lord intends to bring his people back to live upon simple foods. Simple fruits, vegetables, and grains. God provided food in its natural state for our first parents. This is the repetition of the above. Did you find this quote? I found it.
CD 1. Oh, this is paragraph 3.
Okay.
Where it says God gave our first parents. Yeah, the food he designed. So at the Ishotamu Isangemu, you can go to CD, Castles on Data, food page 81, paragraph 3.
Uh, 70 page 125 and 126. That is 70 and 126 and 126. That is testimonies for the church, volume 7, page 125 and 126. It begins as follows.
Page 125, paragraph 4.
Okay.
70, page 125, paragraph 4.
God is working in behalf of his people. He does not desire them to be without resources. He is bringing them back to the dirt originally given to man. Their dirt is to consist of the foods made from the materials he has provided. The materials principally used in these foods will be fruits and grains and nuts, but various roots will also be used. So you've seen here, it has also added roots. So you've seen that God is working in behalf of us, the people. so that he brings us back to our original design, particularly in that. The original design is found in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. This quote was precise and specific. Says that the diet is to consist of the foods made from the materials he has provided. If they question which materials, he says the materials principally used in these foods will be fruits, grains, nuts, but various roots will also be used.
Like the members have brought cassava.
Because if we add, what are the examples of the roots? Carrots, candolo, sweet potatoes, beets or beetroot, turnips, yams. The group of yams, there are a lot. Okay, there's the taro, there's the losala. There are a lot of group of yams. Understand? So this God has permitted, or he designed for us to eat.
What is interesting in this lesson is that the Lord is helping us to understand that initially we were given fruits, nuts, from and grains from Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. When Adam was chased out of the Garden of Eden and he started tilling the land, in Genesis chapter 3, verse 18, vegetables were added. And now we are seeing through inspiration that God is telling us that another thing that can be able to help us is also certain varieties of what? Roots. Okay? So we are seeing that God is expanding. He has not gone into the other dimension to look at our nutrition. Because there is a part to nutrition, and then people have taken the part of survival, where I said, okay, since Noah came out of the ark and there was no vegetation, then people think that that was natural for man to eat. No. God has maintained that which he knows. That's like our prayer was saying that he who knows our body mechanism and the fuel we must be able to put in our bodies gave us what to use, what to eat in order to live. And so this is what consists of nutrition, and we should eat understandingly. And as we eat understandingly, we should eat that which is what? Which is good. And what is good is that which God pronounced at creation, said everything was what? Was good. Okay? And so we are appreciating the lesson as it is unfolding. Thank you so very much.
CD 81 and 82. Okay, 81 is paragraph 1, 82 is paragraph 2. It says, again and again, I have been shown that God is bringing his people back to his original design. 81 paragraph 1. Is it the same? Okay. So it's it. What paragraph is it?
It's 82 paragraph 1 and 82 paragraph 2.
Yes.
Okay.
82 paragraph 1. Yes. So CD 82 paragraph 1.
Again and again, I've been shown that that God is bringing his people back to his original design. That is not to subsist upon the flesh of dead animals. He would have us teach people a better way. If meat is discarded, if the taste is not educated in that direction, if a liking for fruits and grains is encouraged, it will soon be as God in the beginning it should be. No meat will be used by his people. So we've seen that again in this quote, it is showing that God is taking us to his original design. But what we notice here says we can test our taste buds to like what? No, let me go. To like meat. Because the natural tastes of the taste that God has put in man is it to taste the food that he designed. It is unnatural to like the taste of meat. There's actually a study on that one. It is unnatural as men, scientifically proven, human beings, they faint when they look at blood. Tupimatava, imaenda. They've done it time and again, especially those who are in medicine. If they test you, there's a sister, the certain sister, she was doing nursing, so she needed to go for an attachment. So now they made her to be an assistant. She was doing nursing. So they gave her Kwendo. They amputated the leg and gave her, okay? Then she just found herself collapsing. She fainted. She didn't even know how she fainted because she saw Kwendo. Waijuba. Oro muntu chabe wakamona, we react. We soon at blood. We soon at something that is voterera terera. Fintu voterera. Aye? Vama vasisis. Hairy things. Those things, naturally, we don't like those things. Huh? This one, it is instilled in the insular cortex of the brain. We are disgusted at that when we learn of the three emotions which are instilled into man. We are naturally, we have a disgust emotion, and we are disgusted at something that is slimy, bloodish, okay, and something also that moves. We cannot eat something that moves. So because of that, we disguise. Tikatenga somba ijataijuba juba, taipikako tomato na maspice tizadia, but akachipika so akachisia so jabe akupa sani. Like who eats something like that? In history, we learned those that eat fresh chăn. Eskimos, yes, Eskimos. Yes. Those they eat, they can even eat raw. So, even there's another tradition that they can even drink blood. Tengonians. Seen. So even in nutrition, we're going to learn, because most of the syrups that we buy, they're actually this, like when we buy iron, there are two types of iron. There is heme iron and non-heme iron. The non-heme iron is the iron that comes from the plant-based. The heme iron comes from live things, living things. So it can come from Kambira, can come from, those things. And we see what happens. There was a time when, I'm going to discuss that one. I hope I will not forget it. So, what was I saying? Okay. Man was not to eat flesh. Okay. Man was not to eat meat. Meat will be used by his people. No meat will be used by his people. So we know that man was not to eat flesh. Scientifically proven. You can go anywhere. Well, actually, this study is going to prove. Scientifically proven. It is just in total. We just teach our taste buds to like meat, but naturally, we are disgusted at meat. We can go anywhere, whichever science we will go. Because even the science, the force scientists, they've tried to teach people. That's the reason there are a lot of adverts on a meat. You will never hear adverts on spinach. You never hear adverts on what? On the carrots. Or apple. Ah, that's how it is. There are a lot of adverts on that. To teach people these are not.
My personal history. I'm commenting on your statement to say human beings are naturally disgusted by meat. So before I even became a Seventh Adventist, when I was young, my father used to be a veterinary officer. So I used to go with him. So during the holidays to the nearby farms where they used to do their operations. I tell you, I told myself to say I'll stop eating meat from what I used to see. The blood, how the animals would react when they kill them, and how animals used to be condemned to say, no, that cow or that animal has been condemned, so we should not touch the offals. We'll just eat the meat. Sometimes they'll say, no, even the meat we can't. It contains a contagious disease, so we have to throw everything. I used to witness those. So with me, meat, I started disliking it, even when I was not a Seventh-day Adventist. Just by just being there, witnessing what my father used to do with animals. I witnessed animals being killed, how animals will react, how animals will kill. You can't like it. Animals, they don't like to die. They would cry. Imagine an animal crying, even tears coming out, roaring down. I would say, ah. So why is an animal crying? It means it doesn't want to die. So I started when as I was young. I remember at one time my father had an oxen, which we used to use for farming. Then we tried to treat it. It had a hip problem, so it could not work properly. So I don't know what had happened to the hip. It was pulling the hip. Finally, they decided to kill it. But this is an animal that I used to work with. Sometimes you can even call it to come. So the day and I witnessed them killing it, I refused to eat it. And you see, I refused. From there, I said, I can't continue eating. But I did not stop there and then. But I just had that thing, the disgust you were talking about. I had it. Such that when an opportunity came for me to become a vegetarian, I didn't I didn't have issues because I witnessed this. There is no, if you just witness where animals are being killed, you will not eat meat. We eat meat because meat is killed somewhere. It just comes well packaged, well put. You don't even know that before that is beef on your table, it was a breathing animal somewhere. The time they killed it, that animal was crying, it was wailing, it was doing this. If you witness where that happened, I'm telling you, you will not eat it. I witnessed it.
Okay. So you've seen even this is recorded in Ministry of Healing 316. I don't know why it discusses that same one. Okay. Yes, 316. I don't know if it's the same one. Not the same one. Okay, it's the same. Yes, you can read it.
Okay. Okay. Ministry of Hearing, page 316, starting from paragraph 1.
Yeah, that's why it's 315. Okay, just be in here.
Okay, we'll start from page 315, paragraph 2. Okay, 315, going over into page 316. Inspiration says, the moral evils of a flesh diet are no less marked than are the physical ills. Flesh food is injurious to health or injurious to health, and whatever affects the body has a corresponding effect on the mind and the soul. Think of the cruelty to animals that meat eating involves, and its effect on those who inflict and those who behold it. How it destroys the tenderness with which we should regard these creatures of God. The intelligence displayed by many dumb animals approaches so closely to human intelligence that it is a mystery. The animals see and hear and love and fear and suffer. They use their organs far more faithfully than many human beings use theirs. They manifest sympathy and tenderness towards their companions in suffering. Many animals show an affection for those who have charge over them, far superior to the affection shown by some of the human race. They form attachments for man which are not broken without great suffering to them. What man with a human heart who has ever cared for domestic animals could look into their eyes so full of confidence and affection and willingly give them over to the butcher's knife? How could he devour their flesh as a sweet morsel? It is a mistake to suppose that muscular strength depends on the use of animal food. The needs of the system can be better supplied and more vigorous health can be enjoyed without its use. The grains with fruits, nuts, and vegetables will contain all the nutritive properties necessary to make good blood. These elements are not so well or so fully supplied by a flesh diet. Had the use of flesh been essential to health and strength, animal food would have been included in the diet appointed man in the beginning. End of quote.
So when get that quote, huh? Okay. So if for those people who say, Wamnarula, that was your opinion, council has it also. Okay. Definition of food. Definition of food. Generally, they define food saying any substance or solid or liquid that contains nutrients. So because of, when you check it in Genesis, food is that which God designed. That is food. Actually, he called it meat. So meat is the food designed for by God to give man. That is food. But science defines food as any substance or solid or liquid which has nutrients. So meaning that now they can get anything which has nutrients. Yes. That's what it has become. Because logically thinking, even, you know, the Chinese, they're superior in thinking. They know that, okay, if any substance which has nutrients, we can even get tinga de machule. Yes, we can eat snakes because that is logical. Because, okay, if me, before I didn't know, I didn't know when I was entering into Seventh-day Adventist Church. I was following that propaganda, which the Seventh-day Adventist Church teach, which says that we should eat clean animals. But if you sit down and study that case, it's nowhere in their writings, because that one was the one who was propagating that one was the one who was talking of we should not eat pork. What was that? What was his name? Forgotten his name. It's also written in the testimonies. Then Ellen White rebuked that person. I think S.N. Haskell, that is his name. Haskell is the one. Haskell is the one that brought the issue of eating clean animals. Then they rebuked him at first. Ellen White also rebuked. But Ellen White, when she went into this issue, God gave her the light of, we call it at Otsego, Michigan, of June 6, 1863. God told her, saying, we should discard, whether clean or unclean, discard. But she struggled herself. She struggled. She was eating, those who follow the story, she was eating oysters. Oysters are unclean animals. Okay? She was struggling to stop that, even despite her receiving that revelation from God. Okay. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church now, they continued. Then Uriah Smith, when you check Uriah Smith, he Marx, I said, if you want us to be eating only clean animals, then you're saying that the ceremonial law was done away with. Why should we continue with the? It means that you're bringing again the ceremonial law. That is Uriah Smith. They are okay. They are leaders. But today, up to date, Seventh-day Adventist people, they are still advocating, saying clean. You should not eat the unclean animals. But that is not, it's not sustained by our founders, okay, by our literature. It's not sustained if you follow that story, that history. They just want to, what do you call that, to support, comfort themselves to continue eating what? Meat.
And maybe
yes.
Actually, the narrative has even gone further, Brother Keagan, because they have actually moved from just eating clean animals to even the unclean. They eat dark, almost anything, like you rabbits, mice, they eat. And they just say that the next thing that they have done is improvise with a statement to say, you can eat anything for as long as you have prayed. Prayer sanctifies the food. Yes, that's what they have said. Say, and added to that, they even say that the Bible says that what goes in does not defile a man, but what comes out. So for them, they still believe that they can eat anything for as long as they are not insulting and they are not planning evil. So the SDA of today, my brother, has actually gone deeper than the level at which the founders were struggling to let go of the meat issue, where they were struggling just to stop the eating of the clean meats. But the SDA now eats anything and everything.
Okay. So that it is fulfilling what do you call Isaiah 66. Okay.
Yeah, and for sure, for God to charge us in Isaiah 66 that those who eat swines, the abomination, it says the abomination of the earth, and what? Swine's flesh and the mice. So if God can see that in his people who are calling themselves, so we can see that this gradual but steady deterioration in our advocacy of health is truly against us, because God will come and destroy those who be found eating such. So it's not a question of us saying that they were destroyed for eating clean animals. We have gone beyond the clean animals now. We are now into the abomination of the earth. You see?
Okay. So definition of nutrients. Okay, yes.
Na chirapo afye kulonda pofye pali study ya mene ya yosi elo na mufyakulya ifyakulya fine tulia fya vegetables na chakweva tatuishive combine ya fyakulya nakailinishi tule chitamufu emibiri yesu nokona ule emibiri yesu especially natwaverenga muri early lighting page 34 paragraph 2 specifically speaking there are on the one hand health of authorities who maintain that protein food such as milk, cheese, eggs, cheese, eggs, nuts, and beans makes but combined with the carbohydrate food. Carbohydrate food such as at cakes.
Is it early writings or entering words? It must be entering words. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
entering
Oh,
Yalanda. Okay.
Entering words.
So, if we share again. Okay.
Page 34, paragraph 2.
What you quote na no more.
Here it says that specifically speaking, they are on the one hand health authorities who maintain that protein food such as milk, cheese, egg, nuts, and beans make bad combinations with carbohydrates. Food such as artichokes, bread, barley, cereals, cakes, flour, potatoes, pumpkins, rice, and spaghetti. On the other hand, there are health authorities who hold that these two classes of food combined excellently. Who's right? The question. And in the view of of the fact that cheese, egg, and milk are made up of grains and grass, it seems illogical to conclude that a grain and vegetable product cannot combine well with grains and vegetables. Moreover, we might well observe that calves grow perfectly healthy on milk, made up of milk, grain, and grass. That's the end of quotation.
Thank you. Okay, so what Brother Kunda was adding is that even as we know that we are vegetarians and we have vegetarian foods, we should also be mindful of food combinations because certain food combinations are harmful to our health. Some of which we have seen from the quote there that the combination of eggs and everything else that is made in cakes. So you find that a cake is a small thing, but it has maybe milk, oil, eggs, butter, nuts, and flour, salt, sugar, all that. So we are taught to say, even as we are vegetarians, we should avoid certain food combinations. I think that's the comment that, yes, thank you.
Okay, particular, the only quote that forbids, I'm not discussing food combination anymore. The only quote that forbids combining, what can I say? The quote that states combining food combination It forbids to combine fruits and vegetables together. So in the quote you've quoted, it is citing saying, since in milk, a cow, what does a cow eat? A cow eats, okay, it eats grass. Okay, so meaning in milk, you see grass. So can you combine milk and the vegetables? No. So in the combination, when it comes to combine, like you get cheese, you know, it's a product of milk as well. Okay, then you put maybe a fruit, huh? Like the way they make a cake. You put a fruit in a cake, the fruit cakes, you're making bad combination. Okay, so that should not be done. So entering wage labor to explain that. They also gave the example of the Indian example saying, look at, observe a monkey. Of course, there are monkeys that eat only what you call grass. But there are those monkeys that eat only grass, they can't eat vegetables. Okay. Then there are monkeys, the common monkeys, they eat grains and the banana and the fruits, and the what do you call termites or ants. They never eat what do you call, they never eat vegetables. And when you go to a cattle like cow, they don't eat. It's unnatural for a cow to eat fruits. So looking at that natural example from nature, conclusively, we learn saying that we should not combine fruits and vegetables. Okay, that was overemphasized by the Rod and what? Ellen White. We understand that one. But the others that I've seen people that even in health, there are combinations, there are a lot of smoothies. Others will say, ni blending. Blend. I've seen combinations where they do cabbage, okay, and the apples. We do such a combination: cabbage, apples, and carrots. No, and the others they make salads. Then in the entering wage, it tells you saying the only fruit or there are fruits that you can combine. For example, avocado, because avocado is 90% fat. There's no acetic acid or what do you call ascorbic acid in avocado. So you can combine. That is the only fruit that the Rod allows to combine with vegetables. You understand? But particularly here, this lesson is not discussing the combination. There are those things that we, particularly is to understand nutrition. If we understand nutrition and those things, I decided to pick especially the things that we are negligible, especially we vegetarians, we neglect. Because if we understand this module, you see, basically it's the module they use, those that do medicine, they use the same module, but they study, they now advocate what you call animal food when they're using the same module. Okay. They don't understand. Because the entering wage, the book, if you study the book, the entering wage, also Venkateswara Houghton in the entering wage decided to break down the vitamins where you can find them, all the vitamins where you can find them, all the minerals where you can find them, all the proteins where you can find them, all the carbohydrates where you can find them. all the fats or lipids, where you can find them. He did. He labored to show you. If you are lazy to know what are carbs, he also showed you saying, carbs, examples of carbs. He did. Okay. In that book. That's the reason everyone has to have that book. Yes.
You can amplify.
No, we are not. Okay. My question, okay, the question says, after a meal, she learned from, I don't know which course, food and nutrition. That's why you learned. You learned saying that after a meal, you should eat what? Okay, that is eating fruits. Okay. So according to science, so we look, says eating understanding. First of all, there's what we're not like carnivorous animals. Carnivorous animals are not multiple eaters. Carnivorous animals, they can eat once per 7 days. They're not multiple eaters. Okay. You have to understand this one. Particularly, like a lion, a snake.
Like the insert, you know, it can eat once in a month. If crocodiles even way, sometimes if the animals are not crossing, it can stay for a longer period than any other. I'm sure when the animals cross, they go to this side. The crocodiles, they waiting. When the animals are crossing, once they eat to the food because they know that they're eating before food. Then you have things like a bear. A bear can eat every day, isn't it? For maybe 3 months. And then go and sleep, what they call hibernation. It can sleep for 6 months without eating. Yes. When it comes, it eats those seals with food. Then within 3 months, when it eats, it grows very big. And then it goes and hibernates without eating. It comes again lean, thin. Then it knows that it must eat within this period. And in the certain areas where there are no like seals, there are that fish we call salmons. Salmon. That fish are also, it has a trend. It will go this way in a period to go and maybe mate and bear children, right? Then when they produce, they come a lot of them to the fresh waters. They go to salt water and then make a trip back to, even they swim against the current. Even if there is a hill, the salmons will start jumping. I'm sure you've watched those films. For the sole purpose that they reach their destination again. Now, as they are jumping, that's where the bear would just be, when the salmon jumps, it catches, and they don't they target the fat here. It's like ngamuntu kumanda chabo now bear. It just eats the fatty part, throws away, gets just like that, just like that. So eventually, when it gets all the fats it needs, you see it walk happily to go and hibernate. Then it knows that after 6 months food. So God is telling us that it is only if we have that breakfast, lunch, and supper. The animals, 1 week, no animal, it will still be waiting and hunting. Once it eats, most of the time, you see the animals, if they are full, an animal can pass here to do anything. unless that animal comes and charges against what? The lions. That's when they just kill for fun. But when they are full, they won't attack anyone because that is how natural they are. The carnivorous animals, they eat once in a week. Others, like you have looked at those a month, a year, what, just like that.
So,
Oh, you can. I bring.
but I didn't finish the that question was saying, it's saying that is it okay because at school that is a miseducation. Okay, that's so we're trying to state. So him he came now to interject in the yes he thought saying that maybe there are no animals that he can what do you call can stay. So Papiri now was helping him to see. So meaning that there's a need to understand the animal because also God. Remember again, there's another in your response. There are other people now who say, but in Genesis chapter 1 verse 30, God did not allow animals to eat other animals. You see, it goes further than that. So when you study in the observation of nature, if you study those documentaries of nature, how the animals are classified, like then you see how long they what you have to study them and you have to go beyond so that you'll be able to answer all those questions, because there'll be a time when we'll be questioned and we need to suffice to answer all those. So the point is that we are multiple eaters. Okay, us multiple eaters. So meaning that per day, we can eat 2 to 3 times a day, multiple eaters. And in the multiple eaters, then the digestion hours. Okay, that is science. Digestion hours of a human being. When you eat food, particularly protein, carbs, it takes 5 to 6 hours digestion. So you have to understand that one also, that principle. 1, multiple eaters. 2, digestion takes 5 to 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours. So then, and the other principle that you have to know is that there are foods which have what you call self-enzymes and foods that do not have enzymes. Like for instance, protein foods, which are not plant-based, they do not have self-enzymes. I don't know if you learned that in your nutrition. So fruits, when you eat fruits, they have what you call self-enzymes. In the stomach, there are no what you call gastric juices that digest fruits. Okay? It's the self-enzyme. They have to, even the vegetables, they have to release, but in vegetables, there's also protein. Okay? They have to release their self-enzymes to be digested. So imagine now, the enzymes which are in the fruit and the enzymes which are in the vegetable, they collide. What is going to happen? It's either going to cause diarrhea or indigestion. That's the reason when you check those people that want to, if you want to make someone to purge a lot, do get apple and the cabbage. You make as a tool. Because what will happen? They've made the enzyme of a cabbage, of a vegetable, and the enzyme of a fruit to react. Once they react, the body will not absorb that. It will cause diarrhea. Okay, that's what usually happens. Bid us to do what? To combine vegetable and a fruit. It's because these enzymes, a vegetable enzyme and a vegetable, a fruit enzyme cannot be combined. That is scientifically proven. So what reason now did they give you to say that after you eat, then you have to eat? Which scientific explanation did they give? You see, if they didn't give any scientific explanation, then again, what interval of time do you take? Because, for instance, we're not allowed, even sons, you know, I was laughing at it, the same sons which is coming. They say diabetes patient, they should do it more frequently. What is that? Because according to our living machinery, we are not designed to eat frequently, because there are hours. If you eat upper, not the upper, so for this digestion to be complete, it has to take 5 to 6 hours. Then if I eat every 2 hours, what will happen? Vambiri vizambo ora. Because what the body will do is that it will stop digesting this and be digesting the new one. This one will be fermenting. If they ferment, it will putrefy. Vizambo ora, vizambo nuka, you be vizambo vigor. It will cause gases. Okay? It will be, or I'll just make a mistake. I don't know those who've been vegetarian for some time. We make, if you eat what, then you make a mistake before digestion hours. Yeah, you can book one. Then what jamu can uzambo gear go horas. You'll be uzambo, you'll be belching. Okay, na kushula maninga. You understand? Kushula mchizungu kamba fatting. Fatting a lot because of the mistakes in that. It's because of the mechanism which God has instilled in us. Naturally, that if every what you call nature, every nature or plant which God has instilled, it has a principally what you call principles instilled in them, like it kakambati maize. A maize, what is the principal germination which God has instilled in it? Days for it to germinate. We know, you see, it's 4 days. 3 to 4 days it has to germinate. If it hasn't germinated in that, it means there's something wrong with what? With the seed. So if we eat food and it doesn't digest it in 5 to 6 hours, it means now there's something wrong with what? With your body. That is what they call now indigestion. Okay, where did they get the term indigestion? How do they know that it is indigestion? Okay, why can't they wait for longer hours? Because there are principles which have been instilled in us and in plants. We have to know that. Okay. I hope I've answered your question. Yes, you can.
Or maybe even in addition to what you have just said, Keagan, you can see mama strictly that kind of diet. They are the perpetual customers of health institutions. So these guys, they know how to make money out of the ignorance of people. They will say, oh, he has money, let him eat. You go in a restaurant, they'll say, oh, before your main food, first there is this. While you are eating, and sometimes you will discover that what you have been given as the starter is actually a full meal. But because you think that you have paid for more, then they will bring what they call a main meal. Again, you'll be after you're finished now, they'll tell you, say, oh, now here is the last one now, where I say now you add a fruit or whatever. So you even pay and say, those people, they know how to cook. No, they want to drain you. They know that he has money. Then the following day, you'll be visiting the doctor. Oh, no, my stomach, my what? Then the doctor will also speak nicely in that white overcoat. Then you feel like you're in the presence of somebody good. Just seeing him, they write you another bill. You feel, well, I bought a nice meal, but that nice meal has landed you into the hands of a doctor. A doctor also has his bill from you, then you go. So eventually, what you task is your own body, because eventually you reach a stage where the food you eat doesn't help you anymore, and the medicine that you are getting has actually destroyed your liver and everything else. So these people, they know that the only way to make us fools is to believe that what they are teaching us, it is contrary to the way we are supposed to live. Yeah, maybe that's a comment I wanted to add.
So, Mr. Mazrula.
Yeah, that's one of the, that's the question which you have answered.
You wanted to comment?
Yes. Okay.
So, ili pusho limbili yakwe bati ma hours yanga natwalya nakaili papita ma hours tunga takinga in one day ma hours yanga tunga takinga food pakulya elo aya ma hours na yako tala kwana mshekuntu twalyapo fimbi nangu twatashani.
Okay, so Brother Kunda's question is, how many hours should pass in between from the time we have had our meal? How many hours should pass before we eat another meal? Or if those hours are not yet met, can we eat something in between? That is, and in a day, how many times can we eat? Okay. So we will go back to.
I think from what I'm trying to understand, what the brother is asking is that when you are eating your meals, like what time of minutes or hours should be passing as you are eating, not the 5 hour in between regular. What it is?
In the day pakutipwe ifyakulya efyo tufire uruchero twalya papita mawazi yanga nakaili twalya papita mawazi yanga ero tufire twalya imikwinga at the question.
So the question is simply, how many meals should we eat in a day? And then how many hours should elapse between the meals? Yeah. And then the earlier part was saying, if those hours have not elapsed, can we eat in? I think that was the other part, right? Okay, sure.
We did this study, but anyway, it seems like this study, I don't know, the question that direct me to a combination of foods and the questions that directed me to combination of food, because that was what came. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm asking fruits and vegetables. Since we need both, so if we can combine fruit and vegetables, how should we eat?
Okay.
The right way.
The question is saying, if we cannot combine fruits and vegetables, how should we eat them? That's the question. Because we need them. So there's a study, this study we did it. That's the reason I wasn't concentrating on it. There's a study, actually, there's again, even in Ellen, there are some books in Ellen White's writings where it says the 3 sins of Solomon. One of it was also eating the 3rd meal. But again, in this discussion, since again in your question, you've asked how many meals should we eat and how many hours apart. So I have to give an answer to question, says how many hours apart, because I already answered it. I already said it's 5 to 6 hours. So since you asking it again, meaning you want a quote, right? Okay, means you want a quote. Because there's a quote, particularly in council, stating, saying the hours should be 5 to 6 hours. Okay, 5 to 6 hours. Let me, it is also discussed in CD, but let me just discuss it. Okay. This is CD 179. CD 179. It says, I didn't write the paragraph, but it begins as follows. It says, for proper digestion, do not eat anything between meals. Oh, sorry, it begins says after the regular meal is eaten. After the regular meal is eaten, that's how it begins. What paragraph is it? You help him. Paragraph 2. Okay, it says after the regular meal is eaten, the stomach should be allowed to rest for 5 hours. You've seen there. How many hours? Is it the one? 179.
179.
I guess.
Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2.
After the regular meal is eaten. Oh, it's paragraph 1.
Yes, it's paragraph 1. Okay.
Okay, so this in the part says eating between meals. You've seen there. Says after the regular meal is eaten, the stomach should be allowed to rest for 5 hours. Then it also tells saying no particle. No particle. No, not a particle of food should be introduced into the stomach till the next meal. Oro wajakonda kudya vitumbua mrodi, kudya tushava, tute, kulibe. Yes, 5 to 6 hours, yes. 5 to 6 hours. Kulibe kudya paka in another meal. Actually, the road tells you saying you should leave the table where is the hunger. Where is the hunger? You should not sufniko kutulira. That is what the entering which said. You see why you are reading me now to the start. Huh? There's a quote in the entering way when you're discussing this subject saying, do the table food. Don't. Actually, there's another quote which tells you saying, overeating is a sin. You see, overeating is sin. So imagine now, you make a mistake, you overeat, you have sinned. So you have to eat, you have to eat when you're about to be full. Then you leave the table. Yes, that's what the quote is saying. But it is, but how come you are directing me to go at such a direction? Okay. So this one, it has answered the part. It says 5 hours. Not a particle of food should be introduced into the stomach till the next meal. In this interval, the stomach will perform its work. Okay. Its work in this interval, that time, and will then be in a condition to receive more food. In no case should the meals be irregular. The one who was writing this, she ended in grade 3. She was just receiving how, because God is the one who designed us. So God knows how this human machinery operates. So he knows how many hours digestion takes, and between meals you should not eat. In the entering wage, eating in between meals, it is called nibbling. We should not do that. In no case should the meals be irregular again. If dinner is eaten an hour or 2 before the usual time, the stomach is unprepared for the new burden. You see, again tells us the other part. Let me repeat. If dinner is eaten an hour or 2 before the usual time, the stomach is for the new burden, for it has not yet disposed of the food eaten at the previous meal, and has not vital force for new work. Thus, the system is overtaxed. Neither should the meals be delayed 1 or 2 hours. So not even delayment foods. 1 or 2 hours should not be delayed to suit circumstances, in order that a certain amount of work may be accomplished. Or others I hear of others that were called that rich. We had reached there. Remember when we were going into reform, we were following this very strict. So when we're in the church, okay, and you maybe you ate at 6, and we go to church, then the preacher preaches, then the time of eating has come. As would leave and eat. But when reach there, I remember. Yes, would leave. Time of eating has come. I cannot break this. This one is causing break. Yes. Yeah. Bernard remembers. Okay. Okay. Or in order that a certain amount of work may be accomplished, the stomach calls for food at the time it is accustomed to receive it. If that time is delayed, the vitality of the system decreases and finally reaches so low an ebb that the appetite is entirely gone. If food is then taken, the stomach is unable to properly care for it. The food cannot be converted into good blood. You see? Yeah. I hope this answers your question. I cannot go further than this. Huh? Okay. Where? Paragraph what? Am I?
Yes. Isn't it not a particle of food should be introduced?
This one I've talked of it. Now we even said nibbling. This one is called nibbling in entering weight. What? Not in. I even mentioned kulimba kulyaro to shaba. Ujatienda murodi tachoka kudya taona tushaba tagulako. How many? Oh, Korea per day. Oh, that part. Okay.
The best is 2 meals a day.
The best is 2 meals a day. It's 2 meals a day. If you are not what you call a manual worker, if you don't do manual work, you're a sedentary worker, you have to eat 2 meals a day. But if you do manual work, you have to eat a third meal, but a third meal you should eat it early. And particularly, there's this question. Yeah. Okay. This one now it answers. Then now how to eat fruits. Then if you eat a third meal, council tells you now saying what food you should eat at the third meal. Okay? You should not eat vegetables at the third meal. Vegetable to eat. Okay? You eat fruits and a zwieback or biscuits in the evening. That's the time to eat fruits. Not you can sima. Sima kuseni, you eat big, you eat like a king in the morning, you eat like a queen at lunchtime, you eat like a papa or slave in the evening. A slave will eat fruits and what? And the you don't make a mistake, you eat nuts in the evening. You eat fruits and a zwieback bread or biscuits, kwasina. You don't eat. There's a quote like that. Maybe you have to read that quote. Huh?
Then there's
Okay, let me.
So he's saying, as you are looking at this, he has a loaf of brown bread, and then he has the fruits, and he has the avocado. Can he also add a fruit juice?
Oh, a fruit juice. Okay. Yeah, so I studied as a go on somewhere like a king. Okay, so this one is asking using liquids at a meal time. So I'm going to answer this question. Let me continue. First answer finish because I'll forget. Eating, how to eat now says, this is coming from child guidance, page 390, paragraph 2. It says, I don't know if it's part of child guidance, page 390. It says, it is the custom and order of society. That's how it begins. Okay, it is a custom and order of society to take a slight breakfast. You see now? Order of society. Paragraph 2, 390. At breakfast time, the stomach is in a better condition to take care of more food than at the second or third meal of the day. The habit of eating a sparing breakfast and a large dinner is wrong. Make your breakfast correspond more nearly to the heartiest meal of the day. Okay, this one answers how big should be, okay, the meal or our breakfast. Two meals, counsels for the church, page 224. 224. Yes, CCH. Counsels for the church. CCH. 224, paragraph 3 and 4. Says the practice of eating but 2 meals a day is generally found a benefit to health. Yet, under some circumstances, under some circumstances, persons may require a third meal. This should, however, if taken at all, be very light. So when I'm going on light, nikudia kansima kwani lampu na tundio atindia light. Okay. And of most easily digestible, you see now. When students combine physical and mental taxation, the objection to the third meal is to a great extent removed. Let the students have the third meal, okay, prepared without vegetables, but with simple, wholesome food such as fruit and bread. You see now? So vegetables should not be what? CD, Council on Diets and Food, 158, paragraph 1. Yes. Says a second meal should never be eaten until the stomach has had time to rest from the labor of digesting the preceding meal. Okay. CD 158, paragraph 1. Well, yes. A second meal should never be eaten until the stomach.
Oh yeah, it's the same. The last sentence of 158 paragraph 1.
A second meal should never be eaten until the stomach has had time to rest from the labor of digesting the preceding meal. If a third meal be eaten at all, it should be light and several hours before going to bed. You see, several going to bed. So it tells you the food that you should eat, and it should be several hours before going to bed. Several means more than 2. Why? Why? Several hours. It should not be, what do you call, before an hour going to bed. Should be before several hours going to bed. But again, circadian rhythm rule is that when the sun is down, several hours can't wake. When the sun is no longer there, the body releases the hormone that governs the night. Because in the night, we are no longer multiple eaters. The body shuts for digestion. That's the reason in the night we can sleep without feeling hungry for 8 hours. Remember? Hey, during the day, you can't stay for such a long time without. Hey. Hey. Or even when you are not working, you sit just during the day. Because so very once during the day, wamvera njala wadi. Futi baptoka time ya kuwa na digestion ya pita, futi zamvera njala zadi ya futi. But during the night, those people that they call them what? At novosa, at bulimia novosa, those guys. Yeah, bulimia severe. Bulimia, no, bulimia, they eat a lot. Yes, they can vomit, they can call. Yes, they can even vomit, they can induce themselves to vomit. Yes, they can speak up, brother man.
What I knew was that bulimia nervosa is where a person eats, but they don't want to gain, so they induce vomiting. So they vomit.
Okay.
What's the space?
So it says here, it says that a serious eating disorder marked by binging. Okay, yes, followed by methods to avoid weight gain. Okay, so they say they can induce, yes. So they can eat very much. Okay. Are they? Disorder. Eating disorder. Out of order. Yeah, it's a eating out of order. Yes. The other definition says often called bulimia. It's a type of eating disorder. People with bulimia eat large amounts of food at one meal, at one time. Okay. Others I've seen also the others. Others, those people that do, is it karate or what? Are the friend? Is it that, I don't know, I will not mention them. Where you would eat, so eat a lot. He wants to gain at one. Eat at does my press ups. Eat. Don't know if you learned it from karate. You've seen the sign. No,
those restaurants the restaurants and the weightlifters, they are the ones that they can finish one person can eat even 2 chickens. Like those people you see, like John Cena and the other, those ones, when they sit to eat, There is a lot of food. My sausage, my toothpick, my chicken, they eat a lot. And then when they go now to start weightlifting, even when they just do this, actually the thickness is like this. Actually, they take steroid. Yeah, that makes them not to feel pain and also not to recharge. I don't know why they do that. And you see them when they retire, they lose weight shortly and significantly. Yeah, most of them, you see them, you can't even recognize them because you used to see somebody who is like this. Then suddenly you see a person like me in a few years. Yeah, because they are no longer on those steroids, especially.
Okay, so you understand now. Did I answer your question now?
His answer in the explanation says, this is eating large amounts of food in one city, that is binging, getting rid of the food you have just ate by purging, a few of gaining weight, and a willingness to do whatever it takes to lose weight, a loss of control when it comes to eating. So that is bulimia.
So Bernard was remembering it from school. Okay. So there's another question. Yes, I answered that question, but it's just a I gave a quote. It says that fruits and vegetables, you should council tells you should not combine. But you asked now saying, how should we then eat fruits and vegetables? The answer is it gave. It says there's in the evening you eat like a papa, you eat like a slave, you eat fruit and what? And bread. Okay, that's the time, the only time there you don't add the vegetable. You don't add nuts. Okay, you don't add. So that's the time, because if fruit it allows to digest fast. Okay, you know fruits they speed up digestion. When I go back to human vesanjara, you got them fruits. So in the night it will make you not have food. Okay, in the night, undigestible food. No, rice is not chana. Rice, there's protein. When you look at the chana, there's protein in rice. The rice is heavy. It's not a light meal. Rice is not a light meal. Not a, okay. So those are things now which we have to understand when we are eating in the evening. My idea,
you eat bread dinner time in the morning, then for lunch you starve, we are busy with business, then you sick man, you go and say I'm eating one meal, then you cook it big in shima. So that is distortion already.
Because what has happened now, because of this is a working class life. So most of the homes, people now there are three types of people. There's endomorph people, they've become what? Endomorph. They have become big now. Dana bantoro mabasi wenzo kwa na mangati. Hapa manje ni boy ina man. Okay, so you have even the dummies. You can learn from the dummies. Those dummies. You discover that they haven't upgraded, because people now, their size is unlike those dummies. The people now wanatuma very venango vija. Okay, because of how people eat. And when you check in council, Ellen, she spoke much on this. She says this is the cause of most of the conditions, diseases. Okay, and today when you check people who are overweight, may I just tell them, okay, you stop eating the evening meal, and they lose weight when they stop, because I don't know if you've tried that. If you stop eating the third meal, Actually, I don't know what to cause it at the forced child, forced hunger. Cause it, yes. The fainting feeling. You feel as if you full faint. Siningakwanisi, 3 days. Sungakwanisi. But ukapitilira dabwa mveka light so. Mara. Mimba. Yes. Mbwere kuno kaiti bamvere bawo.
Okay, so brother Dietary has a contribution. They are trying to add 2 quotations to what is on the floor.
According to have a addition, according to our brother Lloyd, the question which he asked, the answer we found from this reading page 321, paragraph 1, we say that the practice of eating but 2 meals a day is generally found a benefit to health. 321, this of reading MH 321 page, paragraph 1, which says the practice of eating but 2 meals a day is generally found a benefit to health. Yet, under some circumstances, person may require a 3rd meal. This is should do, however, if taken at all, be very right and of food most easily digested. Crackers, the English biscuit or Zwedbag, and the fruit or cereal coffee are the food best suited for the evening meal. That's the end of quotation. Thinking that the only quotation can help us, especially
also answered your question. It has answered your question. You can take some bit of liquid. Huh? Okay.
So, ka fruit or ka cereal coffee.
Mweko, yakwenkana nani. Seriously. Cereal coffee. Not coffee. Coffee, yeah.
You are saying cereal.
Cereal coffee. Council forbid coffee, taking coffee. Okay. Okay. Paragraph 2.
Some are continually anxious lest their food, some are continually anxious lest their food, however simple and healthy, may hurt them. To these, let me say, do not think that your food will injure you. Do not think about it at all. Eat according to your best judgment. And when you have asked the Lord to bless the food for the strengthening of your body, believe that He hears your prayer and be at rest. Yeah, boy.
So let us go back to our lesson now. So we did not start our lesson. Today, yes, Mr. Olivia. We did not start.
Okay, so as Sister Olivia is coming, so a cereal coffee, we are told to say a cereal coffee is a hot drink made from 1 or more cereal grains, roasted and commercially processed into crystal or powder form. When I went to school, I learned what we used to call drink ya kusashi. Zig you know, okay, those days we used to just go to school and sugar. So we found these Tonga guys, they came with they called Tunyemu, those small granules. Yes, they would come with a lot of them, so they would give us. And then, as we used to chew, then they were laughing at us. Then they would get sugar, water, and then they pour a handful of granules in the water. Then they close it and that's shaking until the granules are soaked nicely in the drinking. It was nice. I think this is the same thing that, yeah, it used to taste nice. But after school, I stopped taking that. I stopped drinking it. It was just for the Tonga guys of ours. Sister Olivia now.
Mm. I'd love to make a contribution on child guidance. Page 380, eating to live. Yeah, I think there's something also that is mentioning in line with the prayer thought, child guidance. 380, no, is it 380?
Yeah, we hate it, I think. Isn't it?
We read 380 something. Right. Now, the beginning of the very chapter of child, the same chapter actually. Yes. I'm not going to comment on that. I was just saying I would have loved to give a comment on the same, since we're looking at nutrition. I want to talk about the maybe in reference to the questions that were coming through. Like for the one of Narula, where she was asking that having a sweet course of, yeah, or maybe how can we eat the fruits and the other grains, and it's imperative for us to know the foods as in how they are and what they are composed of. Like we earlier mentioned something like the enzymes. There are certain foods that have enzymes, and then we are told actually entering which that fruits are raw foods have natural enzymes. Yes, that help to digest the on their own. Instead of then the fruit, it's better to have a fruit and then the meal. The reason is this, that the fruit digests faster than the other meals. For instance, Ushima, how long does it take to digest? And then you take the fruit. So it's better you take the fruit that digests fast than you take the meal. And then there are certain fruits also, like that's what I'm saying, you should know the foods. We know that there are fruits and there are fruits that are called vegetables. So also that one also would help us with the the combination of the foods. And then there are also fruits that are hot and are cold. So we should also like know the time to eat the cold fruits and the hot fruits. And in time, like in between meals, yeah, we've eaten our meals, and then in between, we are supposed to be taking what? Liquids. You can either have in the morning, and then if you have your next meal, you can have a fruit juice. Yes. And then on eating like 4 hours before bedtime, when you reach 21 hours, your digestion would have been at peak. And then by the time you reach 11 p.m., your body enters in what you call autophagus. And when you look at the stages of sleep, there are 5 stages of sleep. We see now where the body starts the healing process, repairing the worn-out organs. So that's why we see that it's very important to eat early, because of the same, that the body at 11 p.m. or the food goes down to the intestines, because it has already been digested, and you are going to have a good sleep. And by so doing, you're going to see that you're going to wake up energetically, and there'll be no sickness. And these are, I think, basically that's what I wanted to contribute, unless I've left out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so lesson ya Emilia Maningi ku food combination, food according to climate. Now, which other one? When to eat. Okay.
Yeah, because like and it slows down in the evening, and then the body produces the hormone we can say that goes to the evening.
Okay.
So people, that's what she has said does not mean.
So she's saying that the popo, even the popo slows digestion. Says this, it is said that the popo slows digestion when you eat it in the evening. So you have to eat during the day. That's what she's saying. So basically that, I will not comment. It can bring another comment. I don't want to comment on all because there are issues that will come when I comment now on this one. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. So we continue. Okay. Use 12:14. Huh? So almost 15 minutes.
Yeah. So you see that the lessons are getting interesting, but the problem is ourselves. We start late. So let us adjust the time of starting. 10 hours sharp, we should be starting. Then we'll have a good 2 hours, 30 minutes of what? Of start. Because at least, even as we are talking about nutrition, we also know that sitting to listen also has time limits.
Yes.
So that we allow the body also to stretch and other things. So at least 2 hours, 30 minutes is good for start. So please, let us adjust our time of starting. Then we'll be able to benefit. Okay? And the moderator, I think he has also the right to tell us to say, okay, the question you have asked, we can handle it next time. So that he also progresses in the lesson prepared. That's it. You see what we have done with other questions that we have. We just say, oh, Brother Bernard is going to give us a study on that one. Then he starts preparing a study on that question. So that what he has prepared flows. Okay? And what has been asked is also dealt with as a study. I'm sure you've seen how we have progressed. So there are times when we can give quick answers and then we go back to our questions.
We are learning again. Because remember that the questions that we are asking, we did the start. So this means that we did not understand the.
No. The people we are asking were not there. So we can't be.
Some of the people were there. Amia was there.
Okay.
So the only people that were not there are the two there and the sister.
Okay. Who else asked a question that we understood?
Huh?
Who asked a question that we? It is these three. So you can see that this is what we have dealt with, where they were not here when we did that lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's what I was saying, that we don't want to throw away their question. We put it and then we do the study. So for as long as we are progressing, we still need those studies.
Okay. Yes. You have a comment? No, you can comment. No, me, I want to comment. Apa iya kairi list. No, we're just answering the question. So there you can still add more. Yeah. No, if you have it at hand, you can read just. Okay.
Entering weight page 45, paragraph 2. It says, entering weight page 45, paragraph 2, and do not forget that even more essential to health are fresh water, sunshine, pure air, pure fresh air, and outdoor exercise. A home garden provides all these. And besides supplying the table with fresh life-giving food, it saves cash too. Yes, home garden work can even keep the children out of mischief and at the same time help them to develop strong physiques.
It seems it's not a quotation.
You said entering wage?
Page what?
45. Oh, which says never sleep? Yes. Okay, so the correct passage is entering wage page 45, paragraph 3. And it reads, never sleep in a room with closed windows. Breathe deeply. Drink water at every opportunity. 2 quarts a day are not too much for a grown person. Only 2 glassfuls an hour or more before breakfast. 3 between breakfast and dinner. 2 between dinner and supper. And in some cases, 1 after supper. More in a hot climate. 42 paragraph 1. Okay, 42 paragraph 1 says, the one says, if given not, okay. It says, if given no chance to empty from one meal to the next, the stomach is bound to ferment and to produce gas and toxins, so that what little energy it is realized from the food, the system must use to throw out the poisons. Rather than take food between meals, flush your stomach with pure, fresh water. Promote a good health appetite for the next meal. Moreover, if after a reasonable length of time all the food has not left your stomach, rather than eat only because the regular time for meal has come or only because you have a forced hunger, keep on drinking warm water until your stomach becomes light and your appetite stimulated. Correct eating habits makes one's earnings go further. Promote health, increase energy, sweeten the breath, and develop amiability. What again without having to invest? End of quote.
You can comment.
It's clear. These are the points. This one. Encouraging.
I know. I was just merely reading.
Okay, so you've seen that quote as well. It also brings the issue of water, how to drink water. Okay. So I know Sister Olivia brought the issue of, I don't know, let me just discuss it. This is 12:21. I'm not going to go into this lesson. She brought also the issue of drinking, is it drinks, drinking, what is that, in between? Because since Banda
you can have a vegetable juice in the morning before the meal, and then at lunch, you can have a fruit juice. I think
yes, it depends on the hours. Because particularly in a vegetables, when you learn its constituents, you discover that my study was to concentrate on the constituents of the food. Then when you learn it, you discover that the vegetable is concentrated. Okay, most of people, they don't know that in a vegetable, so you can find protein there in the vegetable. Okay, Even test of protein would use also vegetable. I remember, okay, would get protein from there. So imagine how long, because cancer, when you check from science versus the cancer, those who've taken keen study, even the books, those who studied books, when it comes to nutrition, debate on nutrition versus cancer, they are totally different. Okay. In the books, you will learn saying digestion of rice takes how many hours? In the books, they'll tell you saying it's 2 to 3 hours. Digestion of grain, they'll tell you 2 to 3 hours. But cancer, you'll never find anywhere. Okay, you tell me, why are you going to find anywhere in cancer where it says digestion takes of grains takes 2 to 3 hours? Not find in cancer. Okay, but when you check, even when you discuss with those people that did nutrition, they'll tell you how long. Like for instance, the entering weight, it tells you water. How long should you drink water? I mean, should you eat after you've taken water? You see, in entering weight, there's a time when we're trying to look for a quote with Bernard, where we're saying, okay, how long should we drink water after we have eaten or before you have eaten? Okay, so when you check his science, the science will tell you can you drink immediately after you have eaten, or yes, you see, these are totally different. But when you follow cancer, strictly cancer, you learn saying that then after we have eaten, we should not allow nibbling or eat between meals. Especially food, like the smoothies, you should not do those smoothies and other things. Then you can drink water. It allows water. It allows to drink water. Okay. Maybe you can help me, Sister Olivia, if you can find a quote where it says you can drink the juices in between or before. Okay, like vegetable drink or in between. But the water, I know of the water. I also know of the excellent quote which tells you saying, kapena you fail to eat the third. Sorry, you fail not to eat the third meal. At least mungamweko tumanzi tozizira. There's a quote. Mungamwe tumanzi tozizira so that unatumvere chani njala kusichana. Those quotes are there. So we should not be in short, what I'm saying is that we should stick to what we should stick what the courts are stating in council. There's another one which, when I was learning of wheatgrass, they were saying that we can do wheatgrass with the fruits. I remember that time when they are treating a lot. They are treating people with a lot of wheatgrass and are putting apple. So others were saying that when you blend them, vima joinana. Okay, then now I stumbled on a quote in the entering weight. He says that milk, but when you check now milk, it's covered that it has passed through digestion. But again, milk, it cannot be combined with what? With a fruit, meaning that we should not compromise. Right? We should not dare say because this can cure or has benefits, we should not get wheatgrass and combine it with what? With a fruit. Okay, those are the lessons that we learn from cancer. So we should learn to stick to what cancer is saying. I think that's what I wanted to comment on that one. And also on the issue of what? Popo, because there are a lot of revelations in Popo. In Popo, they say that there are a lot of revelations which have come. The others that tells you, Eleanor says that despite people having preferences on food, there are people having preferences on foods. For instance, if a pig can't eat nuts, there are people that cannot eat nuts. Okay, or they react. Yes, they react. So we should respect that. But others also. But the general rule are the ones that are given by council. So the others that when it comes to eating foods according to your blood type, the what? The purple, the others that would, purple helps them to digest food very fast. Others, it would not. It would not. It will cause stomach upset. Okay. It will cause stomach upset. So I wouldn't say that purple slows down digestion, but it's very good for digestion. That's what most of the advocates would say. But in a nutshell, there's basically a debate when it comes to that, but we should follow what the principles are stating in council. That's what I would say, because there are a lot of them, a lot of debate on it. Like, for instance, again, there's another one. Let me just put, since there's Barbara O'Neill. I don't know if you've heard of Barbara O'Neill. She follows a certain diet of a certain man called Atkin. Yes, Atkin. Atkin that was in 1972. I think this one, okay. She follows that which was promoted during that time. But she says we should eat more, we should eat less carbs, but eat more of protein. That's the advocate of Barbara O'Neill when you follow the diet. Okay. But now, when you check the general rule, according to, remember that there are different types of diets. Today, but the difference between Barbara O'Neill and Atkin is that Barbara O'Neill, she follows the vegetarian diet. So she says that we should eat more of protein on the vegetarian diet. That's what she advocates. Okay, but eat less of carbs or no carbs. But when you check the diet which we find in cancer, the diet which we find in cancer, what is the diet that we find in cancer? It tells saying we should eat 80% alkaline and 20% what? Acidic. We should follow that rule. And when you follow the same, then there are now foods stated which are alkaline. Food stated which are alkaline. Sweet potatoes are alkaline. They are stated in category. Potatoes are stated as alkaline. So we should follow that rule. Those are principles which have been stated in council. We should follow them. Okay, not to begin now to debate saying, what do you call carbs? We should eat less carbs. Because, okay, your debate, the FDA, their debate, they've told you saying that what causes a person to be obese very much is because of fats and lipids. That is scientifically proven. Okay? The carbs, they only contribute 4 calories, 1 gram, 4 calories. Okay? 1 gram of carbs per serving is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. But the lipids, 1 gram is 9 calories. So meaning 1 gram, fats are the ones that contribute more when it comes to weight gain. But again, when you follow now, others will begin now to debate. That's the reason I wanted you to understand this, which I'm discussing. Also, it's discussed in the intellect. Then now you begin to bring the subject saying now you have to eat more of mafuta, protein and mafuta, for you to be healthy and gain weight. What are you telling the people? You see, now, there are such debates which would come and which you would agitate to the people. So we should understand what is a science according to food, and what constitutes food, and what we should find what in the foods. Okay, any comments from what I've been I was commenting? Okay, this is it, 1231. Any comments and contributions? Okay, yes. Okay, so he's asking, says, if you eat nsima in the morning, so can you eat nsima also in the what? At lunch? So the others, again, they are debates. In science, there's a difference between science and what people speak. The others that would say that It's not kazidya chintu chimozi na chimozi. You've seen such, huh? Not na chimozi na chimozi. But there's a sense, you can just Google it out. Then they will link you to a website. There are certain person, like our most that donate vakudia to the poor, they call them what? Bernard, you can help you. Those that donate food to the poor, then they make, first they choose a particular food which they're going to donate to the poor. What organization is that? Yes, like this, FDA, USDA, Chan. Remember, we learned it in social studies, huh? The one for the needs for the poor, for the children. Yeah. Yes. I think the one for participa for the children.
UNICEF.
Okay. Yes.
Something. Then there is also which other one that I know of? It's okay. The one which is specifically for what you have said. They have now measured it to, we say, USA, where though aid can vary, but mainly they do food, and they are most in those war-torn regions. Yeah, that's where USAID will be able to send. And then you also brought in ADRA as SDA, Adventist Relief Agency, so that you also target those that are vulnerable. You donate. Then, like Kundana was saying, here we have now what we call disaster management, where they say they have food packs. And those food packs, they are according to regions. Like if they are going to Western Province, they know that they want cassava meat, and also say Wapula Province. They will not take mainly the same commodity they will take to Southern Province or Eastern Province. They will take food based on the climatic condition and the foods of those people. So they call them food packs depending on the regions that they are selling. But in an event that the nation is short of regional food, they take whatever is available. Yeah, so for the sole purpose of having people survive. I remember it happened greatly. You remember when this year, area going to Southern Province, people had been affected by drought, and then they started eating wild rice. You remember that wild rice? Yeah, that it was actually grass. And then they used to dry it and do a lot of stuff with it. And it was discovered that once people ate, some would budge a lot, what could happen. And so the government was shocked that people were eating grass. It was common, especially in Lusiti areas. We are going to see a Vonga. I think I had an opportunity to go there and see the kind of food and what it was doing to people. Yeah, so basically, those are the groupings that we're asking.
Okay, so particularly there's a study now on the net where you find this. A person he wanted to demonstrate to them, to show them, saying, okay, the best food that you donate to the people, that would can suffice one without lacking nutrition or nutrients in the body, is potatoes. So what he did is that he was just eating potatoes for 60 days. He gained, he was more healthy. He was showing, this is there scientifically saying that he proved, saying a person can eat only one type of food and he cannot lack. Okay, and the food he ate was potatoes. And also I tried to check in the Bible, which food did these people eat for 10 days and without, it says pause. So I checked, okay, what is pause? Pause is legumes. So you see, you just eat specific legumes. They were eating the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They ate for how many days? He said for how many? 10 days. Okay, and again, another science, you discover that like the staple food for the Chinese, they eat only rice. You understand that? Or even in Zambia, let us go just in Zambia. In Zambia, we've been eating sima for how many years? Do we Timatia sima twice or 3 times a day? Do we? So let us not be saying that tukudia sima 3 times as long as we are adding, we're eating, balanced diet council tells you, saying, you see, you should add, you see, grains, fruits, nuts, and what? And vegetables. As long as in a day you would add vegetables, fruits, nuts, and what? And the grains. Okay, oro madi oro, for instance, madi ya kuseni sima ilipo grain, vegetable ilipo, then nut yalipo, then as long as in a day you manage to eat these 3 to 4, you are making a balanced diet. So that you shouldn't make a rule. In short, that's what I'm answering. So it's okay according to you, to the rule. Others, they eat rice like the Chinese, they eat just rice throughout. Okay. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, though you remember when we were studying again, we said that Shima has its own effect.
Yes.
upon
Yes, the locuna.
it's in fact better to have it once a day, but twice you can, but we should know the repercussions. Like if Valida, you eat your Shima in the morning, you allow 5 to 6 hours elapse, then you eat another Shima. You'll be more healthy than a person who will be eating 3 meals. Half me up of alio wali few chero, then I saw to rice akasua, then I saw to bread chumuro. You will be better than that one. That is what he's saying, because your meal in the morning may be Maria Chinese pieces and chan. So you find that combination is good for your health. Then akasua, you have maybe beans, and maybe I don't know what other thing you can eat. Then mwaisa, because those hours you would have given yourself for at least more than 2 hours of not thinking of okonala digestion. So when your body, because what is very important in whatever we are saying is regularity. The only distortion is what that Brother Bernard brought to say. If you feel like your stomach has not been emptied of what you ate in the morning, and your time to eat has come, take water. You are not breaking anything. The water is helping to prepare your stomach to receive what? The other meal. So like you remember Brother Keagan was saying that somebody is preaching like hapana tupite pa 12:30. So imagine all of you, you walk away to say, so that there we have been taught to say, if our digestion is not done, we can take what? Water. Oh. I think it's you already about what I taught to say. So you have a cup before, then you have 2 before lunch, you have 2 to 3 after lunch, then you can have more in a hot climate. Like if you cook there is no restriction because of perspiration. As we are taking water, we are losing water. Imagine we are seated, but we are still sweating. So we need a lot of water, because water is the one that helps in the transportation of everything, more blood, yeah, to remove the waste and to take nutrients as it helps in the blood. So water is the vehicle of the body, because blood it needs water to move, to supply the nutrients and to collect the waste. Then okusamba kana kukabatule samba ko at least twice, because we help the pores to release other waste like flavor sana salt, especially most of the salt comes out through the pores, isn't it? Now imagine taule samba, that collection of salt closes the what? The pores as well, isn't it? Yeah, so bathing is necessary. Yes. It depends on the body of an individual, also the climate, yeah, and stuff like that. But like he's saying, we have at the extreme times with these people is calling the Chinese. A Chinese, when it is hot as it is, he would give you hot water. And the simple reason they say that there should be no disturbance in your body temperatures. Yeah. If twalisa fulo sana. This is actually good for you because it maintains the body temperature and the pH of everything. Beloved, this is 1242. Come quickly.
For any quotes, that can be a guide so that we don't just speak things from without. Yeah. We can go and read on at our own spare time. This is the one symbolic quote, number 16, page 7, paragraph 2. I'm not going to read everything. I'll just read the last part. Symbolic quote. Number 16, page 7, paragraph 2. The last part. After the stage is reached, where these foods are well digested, it is advisable to try a glass of fruit juice.
One symbolic code, number 16, page 7, paragraph 2, the last sentence. One symbolic code, number 16. Okay, remember 1 SC 16.7.2. So your paragraph 2 will go to the last part. After the stage is reached where these foods are well digested, it is advisable to try a glass of fruit juice half an hour before meals. So okutimwaisha okunwa ekizunguzira kwaisha okunwako fruit juice 30 minutes era tamula alye ebyakulya.
Nice. It's coming from gastritis. Gastritis. Then, as they are healing, you can start taking foods one at a time. That's why I say.
Okay, so Brother Bernard is saying these quotes should be read nicely because the quote in question is addressing an issue involving the treatment of gastritis. So it is a helping method to one who is recovering from that disease. Okay, that's what Brother Bernard is saying. Okay, then the next one.
Yeah, even as it's talking about gastritis, because there's also a situation where of gastric juices. So this also can help. Before an hour, you can take a fruit juice before the other meal if you're having that problem. Yes. Let's go to 3 symbolic code, number 3-4, page 12, paragraph 13. The title is Health Well, Have a Garden and Be a King. Page 12, paragraph 13. As spring is here.
You said that will be 3 SC.
Yes, 3-4.
Okay, 3 SC, 3-4, page 12.
Paragraph 13.
Page 12 was not paragraph 13.
As spring is here. As spring is here, let your vegetable garden be so planned as to supply your table with an abundance of legumes and greens, especially of the latter. For nearly all need far more mineral salts and vitamins than we are accustomed to having because of the great amount of bulk in greens. It is almost impossible to get in salads along enough solvent minerals. So in order to supply the bloodstream with a sufficient amount of minerals, extract the juices of greens and make into a delicious drink, adding milk if you desire. Extracting the juices of greens and make into a delicious drink. Adding milk if you desire. But okay, my main concern of this course is about the extracting of the juice. That is what I'm trying to help ourselves here. Because even inspiration everywhere, you find that it speaks of tomato juices, grape juices, and all that.
This one.
Yes.
Spring. Okay, so that will be three symbolic code, numbers 3 and 4, page 12, paragraph 10. Where it's saying having a garden and be a king. That's the subtitle. So paragraph 10. Okay.
Then the last one, then break for lunch. This is 3SC, numbers 5 to 6, page 15, paragraph 12. Vegetable drink.
That will be 3 symbolic codes, numbers 5 to 6, page 15, paragraph 12. And the subtitle says vegetable drink.
Grind carrots.
Okay, I have been asked to read. Okay, it says grind carrots fine, then press out the juice by placing them in a strainer cloth and twist tight the cloth. This will particularly extract the juice. However, for the sake of convenience and economy, a juice extractor is preferred or is preferred. One can purchase for as low as $1. Then add a small amount of honey, a pinch of salt, and serve with vegetable meal.
Okay, so I think this is now concludes the whole matter of the narration. It's not a wrong thing to use a juice extractor or a blender to make what's this, because it's littered everywhere. Even the combinations of how we should blend and make the fruit juices, they're littered everywhere in the inspiration. So it's up to us to study and make use of those things that are outlined. Thank you.
Okay. There we have the vegetable drink and the things that we can look at. So as Bernard had suggested, we have done this in a hurried manner just to give a response as to whether we have thoughts that will be able to help us to have a vegetable juice before a meal or with a meal.
Yes.
Yes, now that we have this, then it means we can study them and understand, because now they will give us more information. Okay, so seeing that we have gone almost 20 minutes past the time of our closing, those that have other questions or comments, please let us keep them, and then we can be able to, like we used to do some time ago, you would forward the questions to me or to Brother Keagan in advance, so that next time we are meeting, they be addressed, so that at least we may give even time to the presenter to put quotes together. You know, sometimes like you see, sometimes we struggle. You may know the answer, but you read it some time ago. Then for you to struggle to remember where the quote is, it takes time, isn't it? So let us come back to that order where we would forward the questions so that they are addressed in the next session of our meeting. But let us ever remember again that today, our main lesson was left hanging. We were addressing the questions and matters. And so there was need for us now to understand, to say, what is nutrition, what are nutrients, and the breakdown of all these nutrients, so that even as now we want to eat understandingly, we should now begin to question, say, how much nutrition, maybe fats, carbohydrates, and all these do I need in a meal? Okay, isn't it? Yeah, and adding to that, these past recordings that we were airing on ZNBC, we were dealing with the protein myth. It was helping us to understand that what many people are eating and doing today is a wrong notion of this protein need that we have. And as a result, most of us, we are suffering osteoporosis, which is a loss of calcium. The recordings were helping us to understand, to say, today we have been taught to say we drink a lot of milk, but we still lack calcium. What is the problem? The problem has been we have been taking in too many proteins that the body doesn't need. And as a result, as we supply that, because those understand that it is the calcium that should be able to help in the breakdown of those proteins. And so instead of the body, depending on the calcium that you drink through the milk, you find that, again, that milk you drink was also a drain on the calcium that you have in the body. What was the result? Many of us have seen that our teeth are losing shape. Your teeth becomes smaller, they are being eaten, because that is where the body rushes to get its calcium to digest those proteins. And if that is not supplied from your teeth, it goes to the bones. They get your calcium from your bone. As a result, you suffer osteoporosis. That's why most of the people you see that are aging, they go towards the front like this. It is a sign of osteoporosis in our body, meaning we are losing more calcium, and yet these people are taking a lot of calcium. So that is, if you would want those recordings, we can again share them. There are just 10 of them. I'm sure after this one that is running, we'll still go back to that. When you can now see how we can be able to increase our own calcium from the body, as opposed to depleting the calcium that generally make up our body and suffer osteoporosis in the process. So next time, let us make sure that we understand the nutrients to eat nutritiously. What does it mean? How much of those elements do we need from the body? At this time, I will ask Brother Keagan, since he's the closest to close for us in prayer. You will pray for the food and everything else.
Okay, we are praying.
Our Father, which art in heaven, we thank you for today, the Sabbath. Today you told us to remember to keep the Sabbath day holy, for in it you rested, and during the 6 days you created everything, and on the 7th day you rested. Today is a day, oh Lord, also you told us to keep something that should be of significance, something that should show that today is the Sabbath. May you help us, oh Lord, to eat that and to digest that which you intend us to eat today, so that we appreciate your word. May you, oh Lord, bless these our living machineries. May you bless the people, oh Lord, who are commemorating your day today. In the name of Jesus, we do pray. Thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. Amen.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see, for those online, let's meet again at 14:30 hours as we go into our next session, which is a study on the two covenants. Okay, God bless us all.